Yasser, what is probably the most epic world championship ever? Fischer Spassky electrifies the planet. Can you imagine? And you know well because
I lived
this
it.
is when you lived it. A world championship chess match that the whole world is watching.
Stopped and watched. 1972, Bobby Fischer, Boris Spassky, nobody saw it coming. Not the Icelanders, not the FIDE, not the US Chess Federation. Nobody expected this match, this World Chess Championship match, to go from piddling nothing puddle to big time money and front page news. That's exactly what happened, Maurice. 1969, Fischer Spassky, World Championship, 10,000 rubles prize fund.
You're talking Petrosian Spassky.
Petrosian Spassky, sorry. 69, 10,000 rubles. Bobby Fischer, Boris Spassky, $250,000.
Which at the time was real money.
Was real money. That just was a quantum leap, and it was because of Bobby Fischer and who he was. And what was Bobby Fischer? Bobby Fischer was another one of these forces of nature that is impossible to control and deal with. The best thing you can do is just go with the flow.
And when he had
just
beaten,
let him carry you.
I remember reading when he had beaten Byrne in that game of the century when he was a teenager.
13 years old.
Just incredible sacrificial game.
Yeah.
The Soviets said, "Uh-oh,
Yeah.
there's this boy in America. We're going to have to pay some attention to."
That's right.
Leap forward those years. He showed his stuff in those years, but he was a little unbalanced. I mean, he was quitting. He didn't play in some of the tournaments that would have given him a chance earlier, and he never had defeated Spassky before that match.
Absolutely.
Which is incredible that he managed to dominate the way he did.
Absolutely. So prior to 1972, Bobby Fischer had played 5 times against Boris Spassky and lost 3 and drawn 2. So he'd never tasted blood, at least Boris Spassky's blood. Now, at the same time that he could not puncture Boris Spassky, he's beating the best players in the world 6-zip, 6-zip.
No, it's killer.
No, wait a minute. We were talking about Steinitz when, like these guys won back and forth. But as chess got so refined, such great understanding, there were so many draws, epic drawing contests, drawing bouts. This guy's beating the world's best player 6-0 and capturing the imagination of the world.
Well, you're talking about beating Larson, you're talking about beating Taimanov, then they threw Petrosian. Which, by the way, from the rumor that I heard, Korchner was supposed to play him, but he let Petrosian go ahead. You're going to have a better chance.
Yeah,
right.
Bam.
Come get some.
That's right.
Now he plays Spassky, and the whole world is paying attention to this match.
Exactly.
Kissinger, Secretary of State
That's right.
of the United States,
Right.
calling up Fischer saying, "Go beat those Soviets for us."
Exactly.
I mean,
giving him that extra thing. So for me as a kid, I'm middle class family. We watch the nightly news. Walter Cronkite, man, he's my guy to give me a glimpse of the world. This is Walter Cronkite. And he'd come on and he'd say, "Hello, everybody, in the news today." And he'd go through, the top things. President Nixon did this. Something else happened over here. Something else. But now, before we get into our news segments, let's go over to our correspondent in Reykjavik, Iceland, to see how Bobby Fischer played his match with Boris Spassky. It was like, what? You're going to stop the nightly news to go and check in on a chess match that nobody paid attention to before? Suddenly, Bobby Fischer had created a news frenzy that unless you actually lived it and saw it, you think it's unimaginable today.
it's incredible for me, who I wasn't into chess
Right.
at the time, reading about it And
Later.
also the idea that Fischer was also the master psychologist himself. I'm not sure if he did it on purpose just to create all that turmoil, but the way he took on H2 in the first game, which was just completely ridiculous, loses the game, then says, that's it, I'm not playing, forfeits the second game. How does he win that match?
Right.
I mean, he must have rattled Spassky beyond belief.
Right. When you talk about Fischer, the psychologist, I think of a Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali played mind games with his opponent, but purposefully. And he let you know, and everybody who's ever followed pugilist sports knows that, hey man, I'm gonna murder the bum, you know. But even while he was playing those obvious and shallow mind games, he was playing deeper mind games, was Muhammad Ali. And in the bouts, the guys were rattled. And I genuinely do believe that Bobby Fischer, whether it was intentional or not, rattled his opponents. Before they even got to the table, there was a nervousness.
And he had that active disdain almost, it seemed.
Yeah.
And he made it clear he didn't like the Soviets.
Right.
He won.
Oh, yeah.
He thought they were cheaters.
The Russians were
Curaçao,
cheaters.
He had a grudge in
Absolutely.
Curaçao for sure. And to him, this was personal.
Right.
And the whole Soviet machine was against them, was preparing for him, and it felt like the lone American maverick was going against this guy in the middle of the Cold War at a time when the U.S. and Soviets were not friendly in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
Just incredible that he was able to take them down.
And just remember that the entirety of the whole world ran on a single philosophy called MAD, M-A-D, which stood for Mutually Assured Destruction.
Yes.
The only reason we didn't go to war with one another is because we were mutually assured we will destroy one another. So when you talk about the Cold War, well, the chess battle was just the model of the real world. Who knew? But it was art imitates life, life imitates art, and Bobby Fischer, love him or hate him, because a lot of people hated him, you know, as well, right? Captured the imagination of the world. He really did.
Indeed, he took chess to another level of attention and resources. He has definitely left his mark on the history of the game and continues to be talked about as one of the great champions in the game.
Absolutely.